I were indeed.
Ugh.
So,
Yes.
I'm gonna have to do it, Nico. You were so amazed that I remembered today is Sunday that you literally yelled yes to asking if we are doing rant.
Well, actually,
I know, actually, you just didn't realize Caps Lock was on, but
yeah,
that's not as fun.
I know.
That, that, that's just kind of boring for both of us.
I'm not awake enough to be truly excited, Berserker.
I mean, that's not surprising either, but yeah. But yes, I had grandparents over for Viking food.
Yes. I'm guessing it was good.
It was very good. I made the boar stew from the an early meal cookbook.
Ooh.
Yeah. And for those of you who don't know, an early meal is literally a cookbook made in collaboration between archaeologists and actual chefs, basing all the recipes off of evidence found in various digs in and around Viking settlements. But yes,
Where can you buy this magnificent book, Berserker?
probably a bunch of places. Go Google it. I
I
know,
kind of want to,
I know
kind
you
of want to
can.
say link in the description now, but
I know you can buy it on Grimfrost. But basically, if you're outside of Scandinavia slash Northern Europe, that's probably not going to be your best bet.
no, for the people who are watching that are from those area, go to Grimfrost. They have amazing things.
Yes, go to Grimfrost. We want sponsorship, damn it.
Yes, I want the chainmail shirt.
I want the chainmail tie.
Yes, actually, Graham, if you're watching this, can we have a pair of chainmail ties?
Um, but yeah, not actually a sponsor. They just do a lot of really cool stuff. A lot of hand forged, Viking inspired and replica items.
Yeah, but we don't have any affiliation to them at all. We just like their things. It's cool.
Yeah, the only affiliation we have to them is that we like throwing our money at them. But yes, I made that, and it's not the first time I've made that. It is a fucking good recipe. Um, I haven't made it with boar yet because boar is kind of a pain getting hold of.
I can get hold of that.
I can as well, but it's like I'm gonna have to go to an actual butcher and custom order it.
Yeah, I don't have to go that far. Even I could just go to Sweden.
I can get it every now and then in various grocery stores, but it's not like commonly available.
I mean, it's not common anywhere, really, except if you
No.
have somebody who's going out hunting every whatever how many days.
Well, the thing is, in Denmark, we don't actually have, shall we call it, free range wild boar.
Yeah, let's call it that.
The thing is, we don't have wild boar. We do have somewhere over in Jutland, we have what is essentially a reservation, like an actual fenced in area with boar, quote unquote, wild boar. Um,
Yeah, but let's not start to, shooting the things in there because that's going to be a
well,
interesting time.
they are exclusively bred for hunting.
Yeah, but let's not, just start shooting, if you know what I mean.
I also don't want to go hunting boar with a bow and arrow.
Why not?
There's this thing called a boar spear. That's why.
Yeah. mean, I have some arrows that can help you take out the boar.
Like, I have no doubt I could do it. I just don't want to because, boar is one of those few animals that, like, it just gets
Royally fuck
pissed.
you up.
Yeah, it just gets pissed off and charges you until either it or you don't move anymore.
Yeah. Like I said, I have an arrow that can take out the boar, guaranteed, as long as you hit it on the first shot.
With the sufficiently powerful, well, are you talking about an explosive arrow?
Possibly.
I mean, yeah, that will do it, but I'd like the boar to also be intact afterwards.
It's gonna be mostly intact.
But yeah, boar isn't, shall we say, readily available.
Nope.
Um,
But
so
in one of the stores in Sweden, they have a frozen section of that's only wild stuff.
yeah,
You can buy crocodile, kangaroo, and boar a lot of the time, and rabbit.
yeah. I mean, my local grocery store does tend to have a lot of different game meat. When it's in season,
Yeah.
which sometimes that does include boar. I have seen the same chain, not the store, but the same chain have minced boar, granted, which wouldn't really work for this recipe.
Yeah, no.
I don't really feel like boiling minced meat for 2 hours. It's gonna turn into gravy instead. But yeah, I've just been substituting with whatever large chunk of pork I've been able to get at a good price when I've made it. And it works fine. So yeah, I made my 80-year-old grandparents try something new. Now, I did also do something.
Yeah.
That I've said I should do, well, that you've said I should do for ages. I've
And now I'm
written stuff
curious.
down.
Oh wow. Damn.
All of 2 things, so I remember. And it
It's one of those things to write things down by chance.
no, it actually isn't. I remember that from writing things down, Nico.
Ah, for fuck's sake.
No, but I got a mail from the government. I think Tuesday this past week. Saying that they have now completed the assessment of the value of the flat I lived in when they were redoing all those assessments in 2020.
Took them a while.
Took them a fucking while. And even more so, I fucking sold the place since then.
Fucking impressive.
Like, I don't give 2 flying fucks what you've come up with that place being worth in relation to fucking property taxes now. It doesn't affect me anymore.
Yeah, the best part is they probably haven't sent that letter to the people who actually own it now.
Probably not. Though, in fairness, the people who have bought it would have the 2024 rate anyway.
That's not my point. It's more the
Which it gets better, Nico. They found out that I should be paying exactly what they figured I should be paying.
Wow.
Yeah. Fucking bureaucracy bullshit. I am 1,000% sure that you could find cutbacks and like essentially money pits within the Danish government that would more than cover all of the budgeting issues there is.
Yeah, but that's not just the Danish government now, is it?
No, that's pretty basically every government. And especially all of the European welfare states. There's a lot of fucking pointless bureaucracy. Stuff like, and I think we've actually talked about we have definitely talked about this before, but I think we might have actually ranted about this before. Government stipends of whatever sort, like money that is literally coming directly from the government. Like someone in the government is sitting and making sure those numbers are correct.
Yeah, we have talked about this before.
Being taxed, which, is an entirely different government body, so someone else sitting there making sure that all the numbers are correct.
Yeah, the numbers that we already know is correct.
Yeah. The numbers that are literally the numbers that come out of one end of the government going back into another end of the government.
Yep, we have talked about this before, and I actually took this up with my the contacts in the government about this.
What did they say?
I just asked them like casually, why are we getting taxed off government funding, so to say?
Why are government stipends not just, reduced by the amount they're taxed and then labeled tax-free?
Yeah, basically. And the answer I basically got was,
That's just how we're doing it. It's not my job to make sure you're taxed correctly.
Yeah, it just creates work for, well, us, technically.
Yeah, literally. I saw something else. I should have written that down, but I didn't think of it at the time because it was just kind of another case of, oh, for fuck's sake, of course. But I saw something this past week that was literally just the government creating jobs for themselves.
But say, what else is new?
Exactly, that's why I didn't think of writing it down. That was my exact reaction. Yeah, news, my ass.
It's the governments as a whole is a interesting affair, isn't it?
Yeah, like governments are a necessity.
Yeah, absolutely. Various reasons.
A society of more than maybe a few thousand.
I mean, even technically, even a tribe has its own sort of government.
Yeah, but like 2,000 to 3,000 people, you could probably get that to work without like an official government.
Yeah, there would still be some sort of
there would still be some sort of like
hierarchy in some way or shape or
but
form.
Like it wouldn't be official government taking in and the handing out money, like actually controlling finances.
Yeah, no, not quite.
So yeah,
but something to keep order and that kind of yes.
Yeah. But hey, at least our government isn't like the American one.
Thanks fucking God for that.
At least our quote-unquote democracy isn't just picking which borderline dictator you want. I am 100% sure I've said this on Rant before, but I saw someone making a joke about, the worst method of government in the entire world, tyranny, where you don't have any choice of what idiot you want to run your country. It's just selected for you. And then we have the best version, the democracy. It was an American, obviously. Like, the best government, the best country in the entire world, where we get the choice of all of 2 people to ruin it.
Yep.
Yeah.
The funny thing that I find with the American election is that there's a lot more candidates that you could have voted for, but they don't have enough money to monetize themselves.
Yeah, and I mean, while there are independent people running for, not sure there are actually any running for presidency, but at least for the lower level elections.
There's plenty for the lower levels, but I know for a fact that there was more presidential candidates last time and this time. But guess what? They don't have as much, go around the entire country and talk shit. So nobody knows who they are, basically.
And a lot of them will also, just drop out during the the run up to the actual election because there's no point doing this shit.
Yeah, of course, that also happens. Sometimes there are still like 6 in the end, but only 2 of them are relevant. So, nobody cares.
Because, there are more candidates than 2, but ultimately it doesn't matter because I actually looked this up. I talked with Wombat about it a while ago, and I actually looked it up to see what the distribution in the Senate was. I can't remember how many seats they have. It's 100 and something seats in the Senate, and I think it was 1 or 2 of them that was to an independent politician. The rest of them were either Republican or Democrat. So very much a bipartisan system compared to what we have in all 3 of the Scandinavian countries, where there's going to be a few of the major parties that have half the seats, but there's at least 5 different political parties in the actual
Here there is at least the past few times that there has been at least 7 different parties sitting there.
Yeah.
At the minimum, but there's generally more, but some of them only has 1 or 2 seats.
Yeah.
But there is 100 and some seats, though. I believe.
Hold up.
There was.
Hold up.
Holding on.
Do we actually have more? Yeah. So the US Senate is 2 people from each state, so 100.
Great.
4 of which are independent currently. Then we have tiny little Denmark. We have 179 seats in our parliament.
Great.
There are more seats in the Danish parliament for 6 million people than there is in the fucking US Senate for Let's see.
Significantly more people.
Well, this is 2022 numbers. 333 million.
Oh my
Oh
god.
yeah, 2024 numbers.
There's 169 members on our
346 million in round numbers. So yeah. Let's see. Just for the fun of it, US states by population. So, Wisconsin has about the same number of people as Denmark.
Yes.
They get 2% of the influence of how the country is actually going to be run. No wonder the US is doing so terribly.
It's not great, is it?
No. No, I feel like they're very much stuck in the system they created back in the 1700s.
Yeah.
Like, having 2 representatives from each state, back when you had 13 states with less than 2 million population each, probably. Yeah, that works.
Wait a minute. What?
It was also more than 13 states, wasn't it?
Very off topic, Berserker.
Yeah.
I just tested something on the SU-24M. If you shoot a high explosive, like one of those small 23 high explosive into the rear of the engine, it doesn't actually damage the engine. Because it explodes on the exhaust because you can't go in there.
The issue...
24M. The same thing is if you go through the air vent, it just explodes on the end of the air vent. It doesn't go in.
No. Yeah. There's invisible walls there.
Yeah, but so if you hit the engine directly on the ass, you don't damage the engine with the high explosive.
Get you.
Only the cowling.
But you might explode the fucking tail controls.
Yep.
Just get you.
Anyway, back on topic.
Back on topic.
Bloody ass politics.
Nico!
Yeah.
My brain scares me sometimes.
That's what you were gonna say?
Remember how I just threw out a random number as 13 states?
Yeah.
Guess how many states there were originally?
13?
Yep.
Yep. Oh, there you go. Perfect.
I was just like, I think it was 13. Yep, it was 13. Great. Yeah.
If there's any Americans watching, that is the type of information that is completely fucking useless for anybody who lives up here.
This is the type of information that is about as useful as, oh, I don't know. What would be a good example of stuff Americans don't know? Literally any of the European countries?
Yeah, Norway is not the capital of Sweden, goddammit, and we don't ride polar bears.
I mean, yes, pinning countries randomly on a map. We probably couldn't pin all 50 states accurately on a blank map of North America.
No, but we can.
But
Most of us can't even do that in Europe anyway, because it doesn't fucking matter.
well, there's also more than 50 countries in Europe.
Yeah, but even then, doesn't matter.
Countries in Europe, Italy. That's not what I looked for. Actually,
Yes,
there's only 44 countries in Europe, apparently.
it's all Italy.
I feel like this doesn't include, Russia.
Yeah, but Russia is partly in Asia, isn't it?
It does. Yeah. Well, now we're gonna have to play that game, Nico.
What?
Pinning stuff from a blank map.
Please no.
Because, I mean, we can both of us get all of the major European countries correct.
Are you sure?
Yeah. Like, we can find the UK, we can find Ireland, we can find Denmark, Norway, Sweden, Iceland, Finland.
I can find
Estonia,
Italy.
Latvia, and Lithuania. We're gonna have them in the right place. They might not be in the right order, but we're gonna have them in the right place.
Ish.
No, it's pretty easy to find where they're going because you just place one on top and then you place the other two underneath. Russia's pretty fucking easy. Belarus, not too hard either. Poland, Germany, France, Italy. Like I am confident that we can get at least half of the countries in Europe placed correctly.
I might mix up which one is Belgium and which one is Netherlands, though, because always you just mix those up in my brain anyway.
Well,
I just know they're next to Germany.
The Netherlands is on top of Belgium.
Yeah.
For some reason. Because, the Netherlands, I don't know.
Yeah, but you also have Greenland, which is always covered in snow, and Iceland, which is always covered in moss.
Hey, now, it's not always. It's only in the winter. In the summer, it's also rock. But yeah, we might have to do that as a bonus video at some point. Try and place countries in different areas of the world. We should get Wombat to do it as well. That would be funny. Yeah. Get Wombat and Pancake in on it.
Are we gonna show them the spicy border?
Which one?
The one between Norway, Russia, and Finland.
Yes.
That's a very spicy border.
I was more just thinking, I think the ones I've seen on YouTube of Americans placing countries in Europe is like, you have a map with nothing but the borders on it, and then you have to place it just based off name.
Yeah. I mean, I've seen people place Russia like in where Germany is and stuff,
yeah.
And the other way around for that matter, which is funny.
Yeah. I've also seen people call Denmark Sweden.
Yeah, and Norway is the capital of Sweden, which I've heard too many times, and it fucking hurts my soul.
And Paris is a country.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah.
And Europe is also a country according to some people.
Yeah. I mean, in fairness, if we're looking at it from both a political and an economic point of view, all of the countries in the EU we're not that far off of essentially just being like the EU and then states of the EU.
Yeah, now I do want to note something about when you look at the borders between the countries here, and then you look at the borders between the states in the states.
Yeah, like
Fucking hell, squares.
the first 13 colonies have like actual natural borders, and then it's just someone drawing lines with a ruler on a map.
I really do wonder what happened to Texas and Oklahoma, though.
They have funny borders. Let's see. Oh yeah, the Oklahoma Panhandle.
Like, it looks like a meat cleaver that's very dinged up.
Yeah.
Also, California, that's like, nah, we'll want a little bit more of your desert Nevadas. We're just gonna make this line this way.
Yeah. I believe. Let's see, maps. Well, part of the Texas Oklahoma border actually runs along a river. Yep. Actual natural border, because Texas used to be Mexican.
Yeah, but now we also have New Mexico, and it's a really nice square with a really fucking weird bend down by Juarez.
That's because we get down to Mexico.
And of course, yeah, we also have Las Cruces and stuff right over that, well in front of that. Then you have not Phoenix, Arizona. Next to that again, which has a really weird cut in the middle of a national park or something. I don't fucking know.
Yeah.
Here's
like the U.S. state borders are very much a case of idiots not being able to figure out if they want to follow actual natural borders or just draw straight lines.
Yeah, but what about this one? North Dakota and South Dakota. Why haven't they just become Dakota?
Because reasons.
And
because my freedom.
And I believe it's Arkansas and what's the other one? That's written the same. Yeah, it's Arkansas and Kansas.
Yeah.
What's the difference in spelling in those two names?
An R. But Nico, now we're back to Americans being retarded and unable to speak any language.
Yeah, it's either Saw and Arkansas, or it's Kansas and Arkansas.
I mean, remember how Dirk pronounced some of the quote-unquote German and Dutch words?
Yeah, but do you know that Derp also usually had a significant amount of alcohol in his system?
Yeah, but still.
But yes, I know. He did pronounce a few things weird. Also, Kansas City. Half of Kansas City is in Missouri.
Yeah. It's great, isn't it?
My brain hurts.
Yeah.
Let's just go to Chad instead.
I was about to say, let's just go to Iceland instead.
Or so.
I mean,
a
lot of the things don't make sense, but at least they don't make sense in the same way.
I mean, Iceland is an interesting area.
Yeah.
And we can almost talk to them.
Yeah. Like, Iceland is basically just, Vikings, but mostly isolated until quite late, so they still talk something reminiscent of Old Norse.
Hafnarfjordur.
Hefnafjord.
Ur.
Sure.
It
And
says Ur.
that's kind of my point, though. Like, I can look at the Icelandic names and actually kind of understand them because it's not that far deviated.
Herjebakki.
Yeah.
Helvete. Årbær. Helle.
Who's fit? I mean, let's just give an example. How would you pronounce Reykjavik, as the Americans would call it?
Reykjavik.
In Danish, it would be Reykjavik.
Yeah, we
Like,
have the in here, so you know.
like it's basically the same. It's just sing song instead of grunt.
I am little bit curious how I would say this though.
How you would say? Oh, that is just Iceland right there. Hang on, let me close some tabs. There we go. Something cluster.
Let's see here.
Like, I'm fairly sure the first two syllables, Kirkju, is just like church. Kirke.
Well, give me a second here. Kirkebeierkloster. It means church, town, monastery. Directly translated.
Ah.
So, cloister is monastery.
Yeah, cluster.
It's yeah.
Kirkeby cluster.
It's why?
But like, see, even just then, one word deviating enough that we can't figure it out.
You know what the funny part is though?
But
I can't see a single fucking church anywhere.
it was a wood one built by Vikings that got blown over or burnt to a crisp.
Or both.
Or both. Got blown over during a volcanic eruption.
But there is 5 hotels there?
I mean, to be fair, with a monastery,
5, 6, 7, 8 hotels.
I don't actually know when.
9 if you count one that's slightly further off.
Yeah. Oh well. Nico.
Yes.
I have another thing on my list.
No. Yep.
And if I tell you that it relates to when we spent many hours, like an hour and a half, trying to troubleshoot.
Yeah, I know where you're going with this, and I don't want to.
So, for context, I tried to boot up Battlefield 1 this past week. And it just simply refused to do anything but be in windowed. Like, it refused to update to anything but being in windowed. Same thing applied to Battlefield 5. Me and Nico spent an hour and a half trying to troubleshoot and, like, did everything shy of altering fucking launch code, essentially. Like, scripting.
or breaking into the command console and
Yeah.
or doing registry edits. But
We did everything short of, for our sake, probably breaking the game more because Berserker luck.
you're just breaking the computer. Period.
Yeah. And ultimately, both of us having given up. Nico suggests try unplugging and your monitor and plugging it back in. And that fucking solved it.
Yeah. So what happened there was, for some reason, I'm pretty sure it stopped communicating with the display properly. So it was
Yeah.
running on the you know, we're just gonna output color and data driver, basically. So you also couldn't change resolution on Windows for whatever reason,
Yep.
which
But
was weird.
very. But that is not where I wanted to go with this. This was just the context. Because while troubleshooting, lot of articles and stuff about how newer versions of Windows wouldn't support older games. Like not the other way around, that like, an old game just don't run anymore because it's too old. But literally Windows effectively breaking older games.
Now, one of the reasons for this is the amount of fucking translation layers that goes into being backwards compatible to a certain degree. So,
Yes.
I kind of understand it.
I do too,
Man,
but these two games are less than a decade old.
yep.
Like I went fair enough when I tried to boot Battlefield 1942 on Windows 8. Like that was a 14-year-old game at the time. And unlike stuff like War Thunder, no element of live service, like it was released. The DLC was, well, not even DLC, the expansions, because it was before you downloaded it, you went and bought a fucking physical disc. The expansions were released, and that was it. So, like,
Yep.
fair enough that the game doesn't still work on, what would that have been? Three or four versions of Windows later.
See, 1942.
It was released in 2001, I think it
Two.
was. 2002.
2002. So that would be XP?
Yeah, I think so. I know it ran on Windows Vista because that's what I played on most of the time. That's
Yeah, so
Windows versions
2001
over the years.
was when XP was released. So yeah.
Yeah.
And then Vista came in 2007. So XP was the newest Windows when it came out. That's what I was going for. Which means it was probably available on Windows 2000 and now Windows 98.
Bloody hell, there was only 2 years between Vista and Windows 7.
Yeah, Vista sucked.
It wasn't great. Windows 7 was the...
2000
But
also sucked.
Windows 7 actually broke Battlefield 1942.
Yeah. Now, today, I do want to say, on Windows 11 and Windows 10 for that matter, you can actually run the entire thing as a Windows XP compatibility thing. So you should be able to run 1942 today.
Well, there's also just the option of downloading the community update for it that ported it to Windows 10.
Yeah, but like regardless of that,
But yeah, I will admit, Windows have actually bothered to make a compatibility mode.
Yeah. Now, another thing about the patch that you're noticing is also so we can actually use the hardware that we have. Because trying to tell a
Yeah.
game from 2000, like from before 2005, that you have 8 cores and more graphics processing than a NASA computer at the time.
Yeah.
You know.
I can remember that the fact that, chunks of concrete came flying out of bunkers when you shot them with the tank shell was amazing at the time. There was no information or anything of the bunkers, they just stood there. But the explosion would throw chunks of concrete out because you hit the bunks of concrete. It was like,
Yeah.
wow. And now...
Now they
yeah.
complain that it doesn't deform properly.
Yeah. Now we're complaining to Gaijin that stuff doesn't do stuff.
I mean, the fact that it doesn't render is actually something
that is a major issue.
That actually worked back in the day.
Yeah.
Reliably.
Rendering, I mean, it's primarily an issue for Gaijin for some reason.
Well, yeah, that's their anti-cheat engine thingy that doesn't fucking...
It's not just their anti-cheat anymore.
This surprised me, but
yeah, their anti-cheat, they actually fixed that at one point. But yeah, when they went over to easy anti-cheat, it did actually cause issues where there would be delays of rendering. Quite significant delays. There still is, every now and then.
no.
It's not like it'll take 15 seconds from an enemy to actually, show up until it renders. But stuff like a chain link fence blocking vision, that is not due to the anti-cheat, that is due to Gaijin.
Well, yeah, but it's the anti-cheat that decides not to render the thing you can't see. Partially. Because they don't actually have to de-render anything when you don't see it that way. Because when they de-render things that are out of your line of sight, they're like graphical things, that's fine, like high quality models and shit.
Yep.
But just not rendering the entire vehicle and it just pops out into existence, that means it's invisible to your viewport.
Yeah.
Technically. And that's
Technically.
not due to the normal line of sight rendering.
No. Except some cases where the thing in question is behind see-through objects like chain link fences. That is an actual issue with the model of the chain link fence from Gaijin's side.
But yeah, I don't disagree with that part. It's just that wouldn't have been an issue if they weren't de-rendered to begin with.
Well, yeah.
Besides, now the cheats can just find the positional data anyway to see, a green box or a something like that around the tank anyway. So it doesn't fucking matter if you de-render the bloody thing because it's still there physically.
Yeah, like the only reason they have for de-rendering stuff is for graphical performance.
Yeah, they don't need to de-render tanks or playable vehicles. Period.
Nope.
It's enough with the they actually have a decent management of like having things that aren't in focus, so to say, being not rendered properly.
Yes.
Which is actually a good thing that Gaijin does. Well done, Gaijin.
Except, and this is a very nitpicky except in some rare cases when people with stupid high sensitivity, myself, do a very abrupt 90+ degree turn with the camera.
Yeah, but That's a you issue.
Yeah, it's a very minor issue, and it's one I'm willing to forgive because it doesn't really ruin gameplay. Like, fair enough that, there isn't a fire and smoke effect going on the tank behind me when I'm not looking at it.
Yeah, like that's a limit of a lot of games, though. Even things like Call of Duty, where you snap around all the fucking time. Sometimes if you snap around fast enough, you can see things like going from low quality to high quality as you turn around.
Yeah.
And that's just a case of sometimes there's the queue of things that are being done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's fair enough. Like, it's a very minor thing. And if that was the only thing you could complain about with the game, oh boy, it would be a lovely game.
Yeah, but guess what? There's more shit.
Unfortunately, this is such a minor thing that, like, it's something you're only thinking about in context of a much worse problem.
Yeah. The entire rendering thing, like, if they just had everything render at any given time, even as just a still model with no animation, it would have been better.
Yeah. Yeah, literally just have, like, the base model of the vehicle. Like, we fucking download the game in, depending on whether you download the upgraded textures, in, like, 2 or 3 increments.
Yep.
And the first one is literally just downloading the models and the maps. And that's basically it.
Then you have all the high quality textures and stuff that makes the game go from like 30 gig to 100 and something. But no, sorry, it's 98, isn't it?
No, I believe it's just over 100 if you get.
It's 113. That's what it is. Full high quality.
If you get
full
for all branches, it's just over 100.
Yeah, well, we only have for ground and air technically.
Well,
it doesn't say that you have it for chips.
Yeah, but if you only get it for ground, it's in the 80s somewhere, I think.
Yeah.
70s or 80s.
A lot of people do, which is fair.
Yeah. Because for some reason, a lot of people play this game to essentially play World of Tanks without imaginary tanks, or Call of Duty, but with tanks.
Yeah.
Which, that is not the purpose of this game.
Tanks of Duty.
Yes, Tanks of Duty. That's what we should do, Nico. We make Tanks of Duty. Entirely historical vehicles. Entirely stupid gameplay.
Perfectly accurate, but in fucking speed.
We fix War Thunder by bringing all the players that don't really want to play War Thunder, but just want to play World of Tanks without imaginary bullshit, and Call of Duty, but in tanks, over to a different game.
God, I can just imagine the fucking physics on that game. Bloody hell. It's gonna be a pain to code.
Yeah. But hey, alternative solutions.
Yes.
Anyway.
Now, if anybody has a few billion laying around that wants to want this project to become reality,
yeah,
please shoot us a message.
If anybody wants to become the sugar daddy of a company.
Yes, basically.
We can't promise return on investment, but I mean, if there is, we'll gladly give it to you.
Yep. We won't promise anything other than we'll try to make it happen as much as possible, and we really want to.
Yeah. Anyway, I was going to say I can't think of anything else, and we are approaching an hour, but there is actually something else. Because I finished Season 2 of Rings of Power. And, I mean, Galadriel is still running around with the fucking ring pop on her hand.
It hurts my soul, that thing.
But whoever's in charge of continuity on that show,
Pissed drunk.
No, worse. He needs to be fucking shot.
Yep.
By the Sphero Gustav. Right in the balls.
Point blank Sphero Gustav, nut shot.
Yep. Because, and I'm gonna try and do this spoiler free. Like, first of all, an issue I just have in general with the show. Like, why are anybody bothering wearing armor when, like, a fucking sword will just stab right through a plate mail? Armor is just there for visuals. Like, it has no actual effect on anything.
Apparently. Which is not how it's supposed to be.
Like,
but,
it makes sense with the orcs because they generally don't really have armor. Like, at most, they just have some leather shirts on and stuff for the most part. Like, fair enough that a sword just stabs right through that. But the elves, especially in season 3, there's some of the elves that actually have, I won't say full plate mail, but like half plate.
Season 3?
Season 2. There are some of the elves that have actual half plate armor that just gets stabbed through the fucking breastplate anyway, because a fucking orc sword that doesn't, well, an orc dagger even, that doesn't even have a proper point, just goes right through a metal plate.
I mean... Hang on. One sec, hold that thought, Berserker.
How about I go on to the thing I was actually starting out on here? Because the second to last episode, episode 7, because there's only 8 episodes. Episode 7, one of the named characters gets stabbed.
Okay, hang on. So, loud ass popping noise outside. You just had to check what it was.
Fair
Now,
enough.
I just wanted to roll back a little bit here.
To armor.
Yeah, so season 1, you also see people in, actual plate, half plate at least, armor, and it just doesn't work.
No, they have.
It's basically elementally protective clothing at that point.
Yeah.
Might as well be a big wool shirt.
Yeah. Actually, yeah, the Numenorians show up in actual proper armor, don't they? Just kind of get slaughtered by pitchforks.
Yeah, I believe they do.
It's been a long time since I've watched season 1, but yeah, season 1 isn't great either. Like, at least the Numenorians are wearing primarily scale mails, which, like, depending on the base structure of that, yeah, some upwards blows and stabs would go through. But yeah, a lot of, like, a lot of the basic fucking medieval, I won't even call it medieval, the basic fucking fantasy principles just don't apply to the show for some fucking reason.
Yeah, it's weird.
Like, even if we compare to the Hobbit movies, stuff like Thorin getting his name, Oakenshield.
Yep.
Like, he literally picks up a log and just, takes hits to a log instead. Yeah, fair enough. That kind of makes sense. An oak log can take quite a bit of a beating.
Yeah, it really can, and a lot of.
If someone did that in Rings of Power, their arm would just come off.
Great.
But yeah, the actual thing I wanted to bitch about and why the person in charge of continuity should suffer a, well, that would be a very brief death, but gruesome one. And also just to point out, because there's been a lot of people. Was that actually on that show? I think that wasn't that show even. A lot of people complaining about the studio's complete lack of any sort of, protection against death threats and stuff. So, like, it is a joke that the person in charge of continuity should be that brutalized, but, like, they should definitely get fired.
And think about a new career.
Yeah, because one of the named characters that have been... I actually think he's in episode 1 of season 1. Like, one of the named characters that have been present throughout the entirety of the show up until episode 7 of season 2 gets stabbed. Fatally. Like, music and everything is like, okay, this guy's dead now. And then the next season, guy just suddenly appears, alive. Perfectly well. Not even a scratch in the armor. Other than the ones already there.
Right.
Yeah.
It's,
that is bad.
That's really bad. Oh, man.
Also just the pacing of those last few episodes, like, it literally feels like they had 10 episodes. But because the show has been catching so much fucking flack from basically being shit and a money grab, they cut out 2 entire episodes. So, like, episode 1 and 1 to 6, like, not a lot really happens. It's kind of slow. It's just tangent after tangent. Then episode 7, everything happens. And then episode 8, wait, where's all the stuff that happened between the end of episode 7 and now? Like, yes, I am probably still gonna watch a probably inevitable season 3, especially with the way season 2 ended. But let's just say they've kind of done the exact same thing as happened with Star Wars.
Yeah, which is sad.
Original trilogy, pretty fucking great. Like, not a lot to complain about. And most of the things we can complain about today are...
I think they couldn't have done anything with too, anyway.
Yeah, and just like basic basic changes in how we consume entertainment and pacing of entertainment, of media, I should say. Like, it's minor things. Then we have the prequels, which they aren't great. Especially not the second one. And I mean, it is the Star Wars we grew up on. So, like, I can't hate it, because it's not terrible. But it's also not great.
No, but I still enjoy watching it.
Yeah, like, if you put aside some of the major gripes, major flaws with it, like the midichlorian thing, which has since been, I won't say been explained, but like they've been working on making that work.
Actually, which part was that, Berserker?
The midichlorian?
Yeah, like
that's in Phantom Menace.
Yeah, figured.
You know, when Qui-Gon Jinn takes a blood sample from Anakin and sends back to Obi-Wan on the ship to have tested.
Yeah, I was just wondering which scene I was thinking of.
and find out he has a higher midichlorian count than Yoda.
Yeah.
Like, that's probably not how they should have explained just how strong Anakin's connection with the Force is. Could probably have done that better, but, like, yeah.
Yeah, but with the amount of information we had on the Jedi, if you just only watch the movies anyway,
Yeah.
they're hoarding information in their fancy pants temple, but
Yeah.
But I honestly don't really mind that that's all we get.
But I meant more like they could have done some sort of, actual test akin to what they show in multiple other occasions with, like, amongst them in the Acolyte show. Actually, I think that was the one where a lot of the actors have come out and said that Disney didn't do enough to help them deal with and protect them from hate mail.
Yeah, I wonder why.
Yeah, almost like it was a big fat money grab. But they did do one thing right. The test to see how the twins, how strong the twins' Force connection was with, being able to tell stuff they can't see by using the Force. Stuff like that. They could have done stuff like that to indicate just how strong Anakin's Force sensitivity is. They even do that when they bring Anakin to the fucking Jedi Temple.
Yeah, I mean, they just ran a blood test instead to just find the count, so,
Yeah, but, like, they could have shown a couple of images. Like, a fucking 30-second scene of Anakin calling out 3 things basically faster than they can press the button to change the picture. And just the line of, he's better at this than Yoda. That would have had the same effect.
Yeah, but I guess since they were out in the situation they were out in in a house, borrowed basically.
But they could have brought him to the ship and tested him.
No, sandstorm.
Well, yeah. Could have
They
waited.
couldn't do that.
Mind this, they could have
They
handled
didn't
it
have
in
time to
many...
look at that, damn it.
Yeah. They could have handled it in different ways. Like, there are flaws with the prequels, but we still like them. There's still good Star Wars movies, despite their flaws.
Did that specific scene, if they wanted to change that, they had to change it in an additional 5 minutes of the movie to accommodate for it properly.
Yeah.
But anywho.
Yeah, because... Yeah. But anywho, indeed. Then we have the sequel trilogy. Which... Episode 7? Was that the one called The Force Awakens? I can't even fucking remember.
Yeah.
Like... Basically just, initial setup carbon copy of episode 4, sorry.
Yeah, definitely not episode 3.
No, but like basically just a like poor imitation of the original trilogy.
Yeah.
The entire trilogy for that matter. And then they go and like veer off, hey look, we have a new enemy, and then they just immediately kill off the big bad guy, and then it's like, wait, we're supposed to do a third movie?
Yeah,
the only good to come out of that entire trilogy is the scenes with Luke. When he's alive. Before he...
It was more a little bit of, things happening.
Yeah, but like, the initial scene with Luke just immediately throwing his fucking lightsaber into the water. Just gold.
Yep.
the scene of Luke and Force Ghost Yoda talking about how the books aren't the essence of the Jedi Order.
Yeah, and Yoda just lightning in it.
Yeah, like Yoda literally being, Yoda actually having learned from his mistakes during the Clone Wars.
Yoda being Yoda.
Basically. Great scene. I also quite like the whole having both Rey and Kylo Ren kind of like not quite flip-flop, but like basically both of them weren't really like they were teetering on the edge between the light and dark side.
Yeah. There are a few like minor scenes and stuff I kind of like that they, when they
There are a
entered
few
the
of the
old Death
things that are
Star,
quite nice.
the old Death Star, for instance,
Yeah,
when they went in there, that's kind of cool, but like I'm going to watch them again just because.
just because it's Star Wars,
Yeah, and I do.
not
And
because
there's
they're
a.
not because they're particularly good, but just because it's Star Wars.
I am, however, going to watch a specific scene in German next time.
What the scene where Han borrows Chewie's bowcaster?
No,
I love how stupidly powerful they made that thing in the sequel trilogy.
well, I believe it's General Hux, isn't it?
Yeah.
When he is standing up and talking to all of the troopers
Oh yeah.
on the planet. That in German, that thing is.
Yeah.
You can see him growing the stash as he's talking.
Yeah. Standing there in Starkiller Base.
Yes.
Just fucking stupid name and stupid principle.
I completely agree. Like, going from harnessing kyber crystals to harnessing the sun.
Yeah. Like the thing is though, the Death Star made sense because it was, I mean, let's call it a ship.
It's a mobile.
It kind of lacked sublight engines, but like it was a very immobile, super powerful battleship.
Yeah, but it could move.
Yes, exactly.
It's harder to move a planet.
Yeah. So like, I'm only just now realizing how little that whole fucking thing makes sense. Because it's essentially shooting fucking laser beams.
Yep.
Cross galaxy.
It doesn't even look as cool as the Death Star when
No.
it's firing.
I mean, it's cool that it literally eats a sun, but then what are you gonna do? You've just eaten the power source for the fucking system you're in, and you're on that planet.
Yeah.
It's a single-use weapon, where the projectiles are literally gonna take fucking billions of years to get to their target.
Yep.
Oh, Nico.
Yeah.
Why does Disney keep ruining? I mean, I'm not gonna say they're gonna keep keep ruining Star Wars because a lot of the shows have been quite great, but that's down to individual people they hired to make them, more so than Disney.
Yeah, that should just have gotten the entire franchise by now.
Literally, fucking Dave Filoni should just have like complete control of the entire Star Wars franchise.
Yes, just give them it.
For all the live action adaptation stuff, Jon Favreau, bring him on. Because yeah, we have the animated series, Clone Wars and Rebels. Fucking Clone Wars series is bloody amazing.
Yep.
Like, it is honestly the best post-prequel trilogy Star Wars there is.
I just have a few minor gripes with it, but that's because it's it's aimed at kids.
Yeah,
so
it's
there's
a
few
kids
things
show.
they do.
But see, that just adds to it. Like, it's a kids show. And it's still better than basically anything else Disney have made.
Yeah, but you know what I think about kids, so
Yeah.
it.
The thing is, though, like, they even have fucking, like, dismemberment as part of it. Because, when a Jedi strikes at a person, it kind of makes sense that a limb comes off. They've just done it smart and do it all off camera.
Yeah, but even if they did do it on camera, it would just be burnt anyway.
Yeah, but it's a kid show, Nico. They can't show people having their heads chopped off.
It's fine.
So instead, you just hear the lightsaber cutting through stuff, the thud of a head, and then see an empty helmet.
Yeah, I mean, it works, I guess. I mean, to be fair, the show is also quite funny.
Yeah, I really like it.
There's a bunch of like minor things that especially the droids,
Yeah,
the shit they say,
yeah.
glorious.
Scene on the invisible hand where Grievous just leaves because they're losing the space battle, and the fucking command droid just going, "Well, guess I'm in charge now."
Yep. That's
Just great.
perfect.
Like, in my book, if we look at all the essentially spin-off Star Wars, the best stuff is the Clone Wars and the Bad Batch. Well, the animated stuff. And then we have the first season and a half, roughly, of The Mandalorian. If you are far enough into the fandom and have watched Rebels in particular, the Ahsoka show is quite great. And then Rogue One.
Yeah, Rogue One is quite good.
Rogue One is amazing. But it's amazing because it's deviating so far from the rest of Star Wars.
But something I do like with the shows like The Mandalorian is that you see the more quote unquote normal side of all of the big factions.
Yeah, like The Mandalorian is great because you are literally just like, you just get thrown into the deep end of the Star Wars universe between the fall of the Empire and the rise of the First Order. Well, actually, the New Republic. It's that early on. So, like, you just kind of see people fending for themselves.
Yeah. And the few quote unquote warships we see are gladiators size warships, not Star Destroyers.
Yeah. And quite often in some degree of disrepair.
Yep.
But yeah, that's probably the only truly good stuff of the newer Star Wars spin-off stuff. Then we have the pretty good stuff. The Endor show, the Han Solo movie isn't entirely terrible. Like, it's pretty good if you can disregard the fact that the actor they have playing Han Solo and the way they've done the character. Just like it feels off from Han Solo, but it is very early days of his character.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
But like that is a movie that's great because it literally just takes you and throws you into the deep end of the early days of the Empire.
Yep.
Like it's not great because it's a great character. It's great because it's a great setting. You literally just like see people struggling against the Empire on their own. And then we have the really bad spin-offs. The Acolyte. I won't even call Boba Fett really bad. It's just kind of
I enjoyed Boba Fett. It
I
was
did
nice
too.
to have on the side, so to say.
Yeah, I enjoyed it too, but like it's not great. It's not bad either. It's just good.
Exactly.
I feel like they kind of misrepresented the character, but Anyway.
He's been through a lot.
Yeah, exactly. He's been through a lot. I get that he wants to just retire. But also, like, you know, they could have done something slightly better than him trying to start his own crime syndicate.
Well, yeah, it kind of just happened to, he was tired of being ordered around, so he wants to be the boss now, and then,
Yeah.
he figured out that that's a lot more work. Who would have thunk?
Yeah. See, I feel like he would have done better in a smaller settlement than... Is it Mos Cantina it's set in? Or is it Mos Eisley? I can't remember. I think it's Mos Cantina. But like, he would have done better in a smaller town, essentially becoming the marshal of that town.
I mean, I 100% agree with you. There's only
the really good parts about the Boba Fett show is he's getting the very nice look into the Sand People culture.
Yeah, that's my favorite part of it. So,
the part that doesn't take place in the fucking city.
Yeah.
Like, see, this show would have been better if he became the marshal of a small town and, had to cooperate with the Sand People in dealing with various fucking dickheads trying to ruin everything.
Yep. But,
Yeah.
it happened as it happened, but...
yeah, still pretty decent. Anywho.
How many hours are we up to now?
Well, no, only an hour and a half. Only been ranting Star Wars for almost half an hour.
Great.
And speaking of, let's see. Has Ubisoft come to the census yet and listed Star Wars Outlaws on Steam? They have. Does it have a release date? The 21st of November.
Just don't want to give my money to them.
I don't particularly want to either, but I actually really want to play this game.
Oh, there you go.
And the main reason I haven't already bought it is because they decided to not launch it on Steam.
Yeah.
Because they wanted all the money. And that went great for them with fucking 1 million copies in a month. Which is horrible fucking sales for a AAA title.
Especially with Star Wars.
Especially with an established, very popular franchise, yeah. Actually, it has been so bad that Ubisoft might end up going private. In case you hadn't seen those news.
Yeah.
Like, the actual board are looking at actual deals for selling off the entire fucking company.
Which company was it that gave them a code again?
Tencent
Oh.
has given them an offer. Which, if that happens, nope, not touching anything Ubisoft ever again. I was also
How much money do you think DraugrBeard could amass in about a month?
not enough, unfortunately.
We just buy Ubisoft and start running
Like,
it.
you know, if actually I think they're gonna be asking billions for it, which is stupid at this point, but like,
Yeah, well, of course they are.
if I had won the Euro jackpot when it was many money,
Still wouldn't be anywhere close to what we actually need, but
no,
hey.
but I would still have fucking submitted a. I would still have submitted one with just all the money and like, you maintain whatever remaining is, but like you don't get any actual say. You just get the money.
Mm. But wait, huh?
Because Ubisoft owns some truly great fucking IPs. Well, at least they used to be.
Yeah, and some absolute shit as well.
Well, let's see here. They got the Anno series of games.
Yep, that's a good thing.
They have Assassin's Creed.
Yep, which they have been milking since.
Which they have been milking and kind of ruining since. I don't know. They've been very hit or miss with Assassin's Creed, actually. They have a series called Brothers in Arms.
Yep, they do.
Don't think I've ever played any of those.
I have.
Let's see. Brothers in Arms. Video games. Not the song.
Yeah, I got the same thing.
Video game series. The last one was released in 2014.
It's the second one, Global Front. That's the one I played.
But originally developed by Gearbox.
Holy crap, this does not look like 2014. Fucking hell.
We got...
Circuit.
Hang on. We got the Call of Juarez series. That used to be a pretty fucking strong competitor to Red Dead. That's going to be entirely dead. The CSI video games. The Driver video games. I remember those being massively popular once upon a time.
Brothers in Arms 3 is a mobile game.
That explains a lot. The Far Cry series.
Which I really liked 2 and 3.
1 was pretty good as well.
Yeah, I just never played that too much. But I really, really enjoyed 2 because of all of the way the depth that simple game had.
2 was amazing. 3,
I found it
probably
really
had one of the best storylines ever in a Ubisoft game. And definitely the best villain ever in a Ubisoft game.
That's true. I just really like the map in that, and you know the old places that you went to. You know the city underground and everything.
Nico.
Yeah.
Heroes of Might and Magic.
Yep.
Hadn't had a new one of those in almost 10 years.
Yep. But Ubisoft never actually touched it, so to say. So
Yeah, but it's still a Ubisoft-owned IP. The Just Dance games, which is basically where they've been fucking milking their money because they've released a new one for over a decade every single year now. First one, 2009. Second one, 2010. Just Dance Best Of sounds like a spin-off or a recap, basically. 2012. Just Dance 3. 11.
New World Computing was
4,
the
12.
original owner of the newest Might and Magic.
After Just
Yeah.
Dance 4, they just gave up on, giving them numbers and just named them after the year.
Yeah.
Which
Wasn't there another game that does that?
probably,
A few. Let's see. FIFA.
yeah. All the sports games.
Well, FIFA is EA.
Yeah, most of them are. Prince of Persia, Ubisoft owned IP. Which we did have a release of in 2024.
The Tom Clancy games, of course.
Oh yeah. Fucking Splinter Cell. Ah! Also Rabbids and Rayman.
Yep.
The Settlers.
American Army.
Watch Dogs. First one was pretty fucking good, and then they just tossed it all down the drain.
Yeah.
By essentially cramming it into the same formula as everything else.
Let's see.
The Crew.
End War. That was what the game was called. Who has the ownership to that one? That's also Ubisoft.
Yeah.
Okay, no, that's things from 2009. 8. It's Ubisoft Shanghai that made it. That's actually developed by Ubisoft.
They did a game back in 1994 called Panzer General.
Yep. For some reason they say that End War was a flop, a commercial failure, so the second game was cancelled halfway through. But I found it a lot of fun because you could use voice commands on it. That worked.
And what year was that released?
2008.
Yeah. Also the fucking Silent Thunder game. Ubisoft! Why are you so shit? You have so many great IPs that you've just thrown into a fucking pile.
Yep.
And this is what happens when people whose concept of a video game is the same as writers on American sitcoms, aka basically what an arcade game from the 70s was, runs a fucking games company.
Yeah.
Then with that, let's end this fucking rant because my head hurts from Ubisoft idiocy now.
Fair enough.